Alright, so we're gonna go through what's currently on PBE. Everything's subject to change, but this is most likely what patch 14.18 is gonna look like, which is effectively the mid set of set 12. I mean, there's a lot of changes, so go through what's currently on PBE and talk about meta, and then I'll try some stuff for myself. First change, Yumi. Uh, Her healing is getting buffed, and her damage, okay, her AP AD granted is getting pretty much gutted. It's not terrible. Like, I'm pretty sure they're putting more power into Nora and less power into Yumi, so I think Nora's getting buffed later. But yeah, I mean right now you play Nora for Yumi, so makes sense. Ashby work. People have already seen this, but instead of getting an additional bolt for 5 seconds, you're getting an additional bolt forever. It does less, but it stacks infinitely. Her mana cost is going higher, so she's gonna get it less frequently. But I mean, this is still pretty good. I mean, if she casts twice, it's already a buff. Uh, Realistically, you can play this with just vertical multi-striker. I think it's already good enough. I don't know if a different comp would arise from this. I mean, vertical multi-striker isn't that tanky, but I think this will still be like a good comp. Jax is getting nerfed at 2 and 3, which makes sense because this unit is just very stable, like as a standalone unit. Jace is getting nerfed. Just flat. Uh, Not sure how. I mean, this is like. I mean, Jace is like fine. I don't know how needed this is, but like, there's some other changes that might make this make a little bit more sense. Which, speaking of, Namzi. Namzi's getting overkill damage. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is a lot. Like, just base Namzi gets overkill damage to two closest targets, which helps a lot with. I mean, because Namzi has trouble uh, killing wards fast enough because he's pretty much a single target. And so his normal damage isn't changing besides the overkill. And then when he gets his upgrade, it's going from 500% to 555, and it overkills to 4. I feel like this change is crazy because Namji's already pretty strong, and this is like strict. This is like a pretty decent buff. This like eliminates like one of the only weaknesses that this comp has. And if you get the Smolder, Namzi, who frequently overkills, can actually just one cast AoE down like a third of the enemy ward. I feel like as long as you have some kind of cleanup, like this will be very strong. Twitch, I think they just changed the wording, like the text. I don't think they actually changed the effect at all. Doesn't look like it. Warwick damage buff. Uh, I think the damage is gonna be. I mean, Warwick is like okay now. I think he might be. This isn't like a huge change, but like, I mean, this is only a damage buff early, so this is definitely better for tempo. As for whether you play Warwick 3, it just kind of. I think that still depends on your spot. But you can. I think the Warwick is definitely going to be a better item holder later, for like Olaf. Yeah, Ari rework. It was shown on multiple channels. What talking about this? Remove the AP passive. Remove the return orb, but you instead shoot little bolts that deal 2 damage. It'll work kind of like it'll work like Ash, except it's on the ability. It's not even that much. I don't know how good this. I mean, her mana cost is still 40, So she'll get this kind of frequently, but this isn't gonna deal that much damage. I feel like. Hey, this is mostly okay. There's no return. I feel like Ari is gonna be pretty weak. Like I don't think she's gonna scale fast enough to do that much damage. Like this is single target. Each one is single targets here. And like, even if she shoots a lot of bolts, it's not good. I feel like this isn't gonna be that strong. I feel like Ari's gonna be nerfed with this, but they can rebalance it. They can buff it. This is probably easier to balance. So there's that. But I don't think she's gonna be at least in the next patch. I don't think she's gonna be strong. Akali, simple buff. She's just getting some of her damage back that she lost from the previous patch. Cassio rework, similar to Ashe. Actually, no, not similar to Ashe. It's gonna be similar to Smolder later. Instead of 6 seconds, it's 3 attacks, and the attacks are stronger. She gets it more frequently, or base attack speed's lower. I think this is to make AP better on her attack speed, to make her less reliant on attack speed. Because with this, you want to get as many attacks in those 6 seconds. Whereas here, it doesn't really matter that much. So this is definitely a healthier version of the champ. Whether it's going to be strong, I'm not sure. Hmm. Cassio 2 will do 600 damage, single target. And then 3 autos, and then 600 bonus. Like, it's not bad. Like, this ends faster, so she gets the casting faster. I mean, this would make stuff like Nashor's pretty good on her, I think. Yeah, no, she'll have permanent Nashors, so I feel like that might be better than Gensu's. And then, like I said, I think just having more AP is going to be better. I don't think it's definitely not going to be blue buff, but like this. Yeah, no, I think Cassio should be stronger. I'll have to see. Kassadin nerf looks like small nerf at 3. It's fine, and this is a very small nerf. It didn't affect this. It was a very small nerf. Cogmaw, nerf at 3 star. Otherwise, the same. I think like these are fake nerfs. Nyla, nerf at 3 star. I'm gonna get. They're flattening these out. This is also kind of fake, but Nyla's a little weaker than these two right now, so I don't know how needed that is. I mean, I guess Riot's just nerfing 2 costs across the board. A very small 3 star nerf. Okay. I mean, this would affect Molten Caramel more than it would base Rumble. We don't play Rumble for the damage. But, yeah. This is a weird one because this is getting buffed. 50, 70. Like, this is getting buffed substantially, and Smolder's also getting. I mean, not Smolder. Nomsy's getting buffed. Actually, I think Smolder is too. And she's getting tankier. I feel like isn't Nomsy removal going to be like really strong, especially considering all these 2 costs are getting nerfed and this whole comp's getting buffed again. Like didn't this comp get like 6 buffs last patch? In this patch, they're gonna get like what, like 4, or however many it turns out being, ends up being. I feel like kind of a lot. I I'm definitely gonna see how good this is on PP. Syndra buff, but like very small buff. I mean, this is more impactful considering that the other champions earlier getting nerfed. But like these nerfs are way smaller than like these buffs. I mean, these buffs are like these are very small buffs. I feel like that doesn't really fix Syndra. I feel like right now the value Syndra has is just getting to whatever many casts. You're not playing her for damage. You're just playing her to spread stuff. You just put Morello on her and that's it. I don't think that changes. Tristana nerf. Buff at 1. I mean, Tristana 1 is already strong. Tristana 2 is very strong. But Tristana is actually just all around strong. But she's being nerfed at 3. This only affects Cog reroll, but this is the second nerf that this is receiving. Uh, I don't know how I don't think Cog reroll is that popular anymore anyway, but now it's nerfed. However, Tristana as an item holder isn't currently insane, and I don't think that changes. I mean, this is actually just getting buffed very slightly, but yeah, I don't think they need to do this. I mean, I think they're doing this for the sake of flattening it, but I don't know. Zillion nerf. Like I said, they're nerfing a bunch of the two costs. Small nerf at 3. Everything else is the same. Considering the other changes they're making, I don't know if all these nerfs are necessary, but see. Bard buff at 2 and 3. Small, but I mean it's not bad. Like this is like what like a 7% buff. Okay, considering what else they're having changes for. I mean this is like fine. This is not that important. Ezreal Weaver. They're changing missile damage to that. First enemy hit takes additional bonus damage. It's better on the current target. Otherwise, okay, so they're removing this. But like that's like so ADs specifically for this. And I feel like in most cases, like if you're putting items on Ezreal, he's just stronger. Like his normal cast is gonna be stronger, and he'll have this little thing, which is better than this. Ezreal is for sure getting buffed. I'm trying to think what AP items you'd put on him if you were to put anything on him, because it's definitely not worth like specifically building AP on him, but like if you build Hodge, if you're in the front line Ezreal attack, like you have a little bit of AP, it's not like that big. I mean, otherwise this is a straight up buff, and it's a pretty substantial one too. It's like yeah, it's a pretty substantial buff. Hecarim, small nerf, a bigger nerf here, but you know, this makes sense. Hecarim deserved it. He definitely needs it. And I think this is fine. I don't feel like nerfing him too hard. Because this hasn't really caught on, so not sure how they should proceed. If like Some people know that this is OP, but a lot of people don't. Jinx rework, more attack speed. Instead of 2 damage, it's just armor reduction, or it ignores armor, so it's like half 3 minute damage, but then this amount is like a lot more. I feel like this is a buff, especially considering this part on live current. Actually, no, I think they fixed it, but like before, it just wasn't working at all, so it would just be the flat. It would just be a flat amount. I feel like this is a buff, considering you can build Glass Whisper and you're effectively doing like 70%. Like you're ignoring like 70% damage. And this is and the stronger too. And the actual damage you're doing is more. I feel like this is a pretty hefty buff. And also considering Hunter, like Namzi and stuff, like the early units are getting buffed, like I think Hunter's gonna be very strong. I think whether you play the early board version, like either you play Nazi rule into Shapeshifter, or you can play more Hunter with this. Like this is a pretty substantial buff. Mord rework, kind of. They're changing the AP to damage amp, which means his shield isn't gonna get stronger over the course of combat, but they make the base value bigger. I feel like, okay, how many casts for this to like matter? Let's just see, 250 to 350. Uh, so this is for 4 casts for it to reach this value. I feel like this is pretty much a buff. Like, how more casting 4 I mean, his mana cost isn't that high. But he's mana locked while his shield is up, so I still feel like this is a buff. He's gonna go infinite less often, but as a baseline, he's much stronger, and he's already pretty strong. And also, this is like not even that bad. Like 12 damage amp for 10 AP. Like he's gonna for sure be doing more damage. There might be a world. I don't think Vanguard is one of the traits getting a craftable spot, so maybe not. But there's a world where 6 Vanguard Mordekaiser carry could be viable. Like Mordekaiser, Warwick, maybe, probably not. But like this is like a good, like this scaling is pretty high. This value isn't that high, but like a world where you can go like Crown Guard BT or something like that. It might be possible. Should be interesting. Nico, just it's just okay. Base value higher, but scaling lower. 15 to 12, and then 200. So 3% difference plus 100. So what percent do you need to like 3,000? No, I think it'd be 3333 health. So if you have 333 health or 3333 health, live version's better, and if you don't, so basically unitemized Nico I think is better. Or like Nico 2 is better, but Nico 3 is worse. But this change isn't like that big. Yeah, but early Nico's a little bit stronger. But actually, no, early Nico's like a lot stronger. Like Nico 1. I mean, that's a pretty big difference. Vagar nerf. Deserved. I think this is a little late, but it's fine. It's a pretty hefty nerf too. but they're making mage spat craftable, so this might not be that big of a deal. But yeah, no, I mean this makes sense from like for the current state of the game. Wukong rework, losing this passive bonus armor and MR, and instead he gets a flat amount that he loses every second. His damage and stuff is not changed. His base value is lower. So yeah, the goal of this was to make Wukong 1, Wukong 2 stronger. Uh, it's to make uh double gargoyle less important for Wukong. You can just put in whatever tank items you want. But yeah, Wukong 1 on like stage 2, that'll be very strong. Like regardless of what items you have. And obviously this is helpful for the game. This nerfs the I mean this pretty much kills. Does it kill? Maybe not. But like Wukong isn't really the go-to frontliner for stuff like Jinx rule. So but now you can probably play stuff like Swain for the same kind of effect. When she was reworked last patch. What changes? I think they just changed the text, but they buffed the sniff damage. The snip damage. Yeah, the snip damage is going up. It's just skill. She's just gonna scale faster, and that's it. The rest of it's just text change. Wait, so twice plus once for every snip snack? What's the base snip value? It doesn't say that. This is 2 plus X. Like, what's the starting value? I mean, I guess maybe it'll say on the actual lines. Maybe from here it won't say. But in game it'll show. Olaf, pretty good buff. Slam damage increased, mana cost decreased. I feel like Olaf is gonna be very good. Um, so he's the way Olaf works. He's gonna have this much more often because his mana cost is lower. His time is increased, so he basically I don't think you need healing or QSS on him at all. Like you didn't before, but like now he's gonna have this up more often. So like like you can just give him like the stuff that he actually needs. He's all around gonna do more damage. I feel like Olaf is actually like at this point, he's actually gonna be like strong. Like he's probably gonna be stronger than Fiora. And with the Hunter buffs too, like I feel like Hunter is gonna as a vertical trade is gonna be super strong. Yeah, I need to play Hunter like vertical, and I need to play shape Namzi roll. Those two for sure need to be tested. Rakan AP buffs, base value buffs, and mana. Oh, so this is a lot of kind of substantial buffs. And it costs lower. Pretty good. You're just getting 100 flat shielding. You're probably never gonna build AP on him unless you have like a spark. But I mean, he's just getting 100 extra shield. Pretty good. Now, does Rakan need it? I don't think so. I don't know why he's getting buffed. I think this unit's fine, but they're buffing him. Varus. I saw this earlier and I'm like, I'm really confused. So, this is going to this. That's a lot. Like, that's like what, an 80% damage increase? And then, okay, it's like nerfed here and here. So effectively, this whole change makes Varus into more of a caster. Like, he's more reliant on his ability. But I mean, he already was, but now, like, his autos are going to be even weaker. But his cast is going to be, like, a lot stronger. Just looking at these numbers, like, this doesn't include the scaling you have from items or traits or whatever. This is just base value. But the base cast is gonna go up substantially. It's gonna scale more than it did before. So this number's gonna get higher faster. The fireball damage is a lower percentage, but the base value is much higher. So okay, I feel like we don't look at, so this is gonna matter for auto attacks, but for the spell, I think we just look at this number because that's like the post. It's gonna, that's how it works. So even though the base AD, you're gonna have less AD from items, but you're gonna have more of it go into the ability. So this number is still gonna, and this flat amount doesn't matter. So you still just, so what? So properly calculate it, you'd subtract 75, and then that's just the actual contribution your AD has to the ability. So if you have like Deathblade, just ignore the damage amp from Deathblade, but 55% AD. Like this number is gonna be higher than, it's gonna increase by more than this one. And it explodes into a lower percentage, but like this number's gonna scale higher. So at worst, this isn't even. At worst, this number's gonna be the same. But the base fireball is just gonna be like massively buffed. Like from this to this. That's like 40% damage buff. Like I don't know, I don't think Varus is in need of a 40% damage buff on his ability. Like I'll have to see in game, but this seems very overtuned. Considering what his traits also do and how much damage he gets from it. Like, okay, it's only the main fireball, but like this, if this makes him be able to deal with like like super tanks, like what isn't Varus gonna one shot? Is the question. Melio, mana buff. I mean, Melio's not even that bad anymore. He was pretty bad for a while, but I feel like with this, he's gonna be pretty. He's gonna be a solid unit. He still doesn't do that much damage, but like he has like innate utility. Like I feel like now you can actually put him on your like level 9 boards. Your as just a splash if you have him. So yeah. Nora, getting small damage buff, compensate for the Yumi nerf. I think it's fine. I think it's better to put more power into Nora and less into Yumi. So I think this is fine. Nora's already pretty strong, but again, a lot of that power is in Yumi. I feel like this is fine. And they didn't nerf it, they didn't buff it that much compared to how much they nerfed Yumi, so I think that's fine. Smolder. They changed it from duration to flat amount. And the amount of it does is less. Okay, so I feel like the actual cast is gonna be worse, but he can get to his cast faster. But I think he's just gonna have less uptime on his empowered attack, his fireballs. So I think this is just gonna be a nerf. Now with Dragon upgrade, this is probably a buff, but you're for sure getting more attacks with this than you are with this. And his mana cost isn't changing. So I feel like this is just a pretty big nerf. Like without 3 Dragon. With 3 Dragon, this is still worse than this. But this amount is probably going to make up for it. So like the Dragon upgrade is probably a buff. This wasn't really that important. I guess it's probably a buff. But this is probably a nerf. Yeah, I feel like Smolder is just gonna be weaker for the most part. As a cap to like an Omzi board, I mean that would be pretty strong. So, but with Blaster or like with like Varus and stuff, or just like as a legendary flex, it's actually just gonna be weaker. Like how many last attacks would this be in 6 seconds? You can probably get like 8 or 9 attacks on your first, and then if you have Ginsu's, it'd be more. So yeah, you're losing a pretty substantial amount of damage. Like they didn't buff this at all either. Like think about it this way: getting 4 attacks of this instead of like, let's say your base attacks do like, what's his base? What's the percentage? 130%. Oh no, this is direct. This is the upgrade damage. I don't know how to see what percentage this is, but what is his base AD? Like if I were to just guess like 90, you're getting 83 more damage on 4 attacks. So your spell is doing like 300 damage to a single target. I feel like that's not very good. Xerath mini rework. Uh, it is changing from random enemies to the random between the 5 closest enemies, and then his damage being buffed. He's no longer gonna snipe backline carry in the opposite corner. Maybe he will in the same corner, like same side. Not sure. Actually, maybe there's gonna be tech where you third row him, so that like for sure hits the same side carry, and then it'll be more likely to hit and kill the carry. Though you might have to be worried against like what's Varus. I mean, there's definitely a good amount of threats. The damage buff is like fine, but if he's hitting mostly frontline, like in most cases, if he's hitting mostly frontline, this isn't like, this is what, a 15% damage buff. This is like a 13% damage buff, something like that. If you can reliably clear the board like fast enough. Because right now I think the way there are functions is that if he randomly snipes the carry, he just wins the fight. And if he doesn't, he's a little too slow to do that, to kill the board. Maybe not. I mean, this turns him into like Rise, pretty much. 10 and 250. Let's take a look at Rise, who is 85, 312. Okay, let's Rise 2. 130, 312 versus uh 10, 375, 5. So the total damage is just gonna be 3750. Whereas here it is off the top of my head. 140. No, no, no. 156. It's 1560. 1560 across 3 targets versus 3750 across 5 targets. I mean, that's pretty substantial, actually, now that I think about it. Each target will be taking 750 approximately. I mean, it's... Whereas with here, each target takes, no, so this, that times 4. 520. Xerath 1 is in the 500. So, okay, so Xerath 1 is kind of close to Rise 2. Oh, he also casts less frequently, and his thing scales. I mean... Okay, I mean, Rise 2 is for sure better than Xerath 1, but, like... I feel like this change is fine. I don't know if it's overpowered or underpowered. This will make Xerath a more reliable carrier, though. I feel like that in itself is probably a buff. Blaster buff. It's just being buffed all around, yeah. So 3, 5, 10, 10, 15, 10. So 4 Blaster relatively is getting the biggest buff. Does it need it? Maybe. According to the stats it does, but I don't even think like, it's because of the trait. I think it's just the units. Should be okay. Chrono mini rework, sort of, not really, but like 16 to 14. That's pretty noticeable. Just all variations, you get it 2 seconds earlier. This is just text change. This is the same. 6 chrono. The freeze time is going up 1 second. And you're getting 40% less attack speed, but you're getting 35% more AP, which is better for everyone but Camille. I feel like making 6 chrono worse for Camille is not... I mean, I feel like Camille should have some kind of scaling with AP that, like, matters. Because Camille's worse with 6 chrono, but, like, the rest of the units are buffed. Realistically, though, you could just look at this as... Because this is still not craftable, so you could just look at this as a 2 chrono buff. You get it 2 seconds earlier. I feel like that much is pretty good. Fairy rework. This one is a lot. The base values are going up. It's instead of like it's 3579 instead of this. So you have to play 1 more unit than these. But the amount you're getting at each is a lot more. So at 3, meaning you have to hit the Tristana or the Katarina. It's 200 health, and then the amp is stronger. At 5, you get the armor instead of 6. At 7, you get a second crown. And the crown damage is also higher. The health is the same, pretty much, but... Like, you can just play around... Like, with 1 spat, you play around Callista, Cat, Rakan. You have 2 crowns. Can you put multiple crowns on the same units. You probably you probably can. Or is the tech with that? Or you hit Callista with the Crown Rage Blade. I feel like that's gonna be pretty impactful. Like maybe two is two crowns better than one crown on two units? That'll be a question. Honeymancy rework, which is actually just really is just a huge buff, honestly. So you get 5 Bs regardless of your rank, but they do more damage based on what rank you have. You also get more Bs that will follow when they die. So for perspective, let's look at like these traits or these tiers individually. 3 Bs or three, you have 7% damage, 3% taken. This is like kind of the same. Slightly less here. It's more here. Uh, so all around on frontliners, this is just a buff. On backliners, it's about even. But 3 Bs, 5 Bs, same like frequency and everything. They're even being left with more Bs, but like going from 3 Bs to 5 Bs and everything else is the same. Is that not just a 66% damage increase? Like, hello? I don't think that Honeymancy needs a 66% damage increase. Because, like actually, it's 22.5% damage every 3 seconds versus 35% damage. Plus, they can be left with more Bs. 5, it's like a bit more closer to the live value. Uh, 6 Bs, 7.5, which is 45% damage. And then it's 15% damage taken. Whereas with this, 50% damage dealt, 25% damage taken. This is much better for frontliners. For backliners, it's also buffed, but like by a lot less. Actually, wait, go back to 3. The frontliner damage from the Bs is just doubled. And from 7.5 to 15%. I feel like that's like isn't 3 Honeymancy just like actually OP? 3 Honeymancy is actually gonna be so incredibly overpowered. And then 7 Honeymancy, um, it's probably buffed 75% to what 67.5, and then here it's 23.5. 3B survive instead, and then damage taken is 17. No, it's 22.5 versus 50. I mean, okay, like I feel like tanks all around massively winning. The backliners getting a little bit less. I mean, here it's a lot more. Like here and here, it's like not that much. But then there's also this thing, which I feel like that makes this trait absolutely insane. Like, okay, 7 Honeymancy, you have like a tank. You're dealing 50% of damage taken every 1.5 seconds. So you just need to make sure that your Honeymancy units are as unkillable as possible. I feel like you never put a Honeymancy spat on a backline unit. You put it on a tank. I mean, it's already kind of that way, but like now for sure. There also might be tech where like you like trap Blitzcrank 3 in the corner with like triple or like double Gargoyles Redemption or something. I feel like that might be the tech. That's kind of crazy. Now we're getting to the changes because they're adding the frying pan recipes. So now we're getting some of these changes. Hunter, small changes here, but most noticeably at 6. Slight nerf, but uh, you're getting attack speed. Makes the vertical a little bit more appealing. Now, remember, all the units are also buffed, except for Kog'Maw. But the other, I mean, Namzi, Jinx, Olaf are buffed, so that vertical having a craftable is going to be pretty noticeable. Especially since there's pretty decent candidates for Hunter too. Like you can put Hunter Spat on Warwick, and that's going to be pretty good. Mage craftable now, unchanged except for instead of 9, it is now a 10, but 10 is like basically a prismatic trait. I mean, this should be a prismatic trait. Uh, mages cast much more frequently. What does that mean? I'm pretty sure what I forgot where it was posted, but what this means is that it'll set the mana cost of all the mage units to 20. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember seeing that somewhere on something, someone like I don't know if it was Mort that posted it or it was someone, but yeah, this is gonna be a prismatic trait. I don't see how Vex is gonna be killable with this. Like unironic, like 20 mana cost. Like her shield, like I feel like you'd have to burst her shield. And then obviously the backliners are just gonna go absolutely insane. If you have blue, like this blue buff, Nami, blue buff Vhagar, all that jazz, like that's. I mean that's for sure prismatic. I don't know how. I mean this probably beats 10 Portal. No, I'm not sure about 10 Eldritch, but I feel like 10 Mage beats 10 Portal. We'll have to see. Scholar mini rework. It's getting AP now. Not a lot, but it's pretty nice. This is going back down. This didn't need to be these values, so this is perfectly fine. But now you have Gunblade on 6 Scholar, and this is gonna be craftable. So I feel like that's pretty good. I don't know what the 6 Scholar board would be. Uh, you'd probably have the Scholar emblem on frontline. I guess it's Scholar Pan. Scholar Pan a frontliner. Because, yeah, it's the 5 Scholars are backliners. But, I mean, a Gunblade, like, that's pretty good. Like this is pretty good. Like that's. I don't know. I don't know what frontline you'd play with it though. Like maybe it's 4 Bastion with like Tar Kakarin +2. Maybe. Yeah, it's probably that. Shapeshifter, at 8, you healing instead of you're losing a little bit of health, but you're healing. This is obviously a buff. It's a very big buff. Because this is a lot, and these units are gonna have a lot of health, so this is a very big buff. Yeah, but this is another buff to Namji reroll, by the way. Sugar Crab nerf. I mean, kind of deserved. The cash outs are insane. This number, I don't think this number needed to change. This also, maybe Maybe they could have nerfed the cash outs. I feel like them, like this scaling looks really weird. I feel like this could have been nerfed. I feel like they should have nerfed it early so that you have less health to work with, so you can like less cash outs. I feel like this is fine. I feel like this could just be removed. Whatever. Warrior, this is getting reverted, but you're getting their ability, which I think makes this a much more interesting vertical. This is also craftable, so yeah, this will be quite strong. Like it's a much more incentive, especially on something like Fiora. Like you play around Fiora, you have a lot more durability, and then Cat as well. I mean Gwen, she scales longer. Like this is net got like a net like substantial buff. Also being nerfed at 4, which I think makes sense. 4 warrior is very strong. I don't know why it was buffed before. Like I feel like when they buffed Cat, they fixed the problem with 4 warrior, but then they also buffed it to 20, which didn't make sense. Witchcraft rework. Uh, so I don't know how I feel about this, but is this being changed? Okay, it's being buffed. The main change is the 4 witchcraft buff, which instead of having a gunblade effect, it's now having a damage over time effect. So this is purely offensive. So basically, this is not defensive anymore. So it's not gonna be as good on like tanks and stuff. But it's specifically going to be better on like people that can apply it well, people that deal damage to a lot of units. So pretty much, this now makes witchcraft karma actually correct instead of before where it was kind of like fake. Because even though she was good at spreading it, you weren't actually getting that much value from it. But now, witchcraft karma is probably correct in all cases. And yeah, so the board's gonna be less tanky, but it's gonna be much less tanky. So you need some kind of tank. The problem is, what kind of tank do you go? Because like, mm, the problem is a lot of the witchcraft units don't apply this well. Like Cassio and Zoe are single targets, and now Nico's losing a defensive trait and getting an offensive one, which I guess that's probably why they buffed her. I guess, but yeah, that has to be why they buffed Nico. I think this. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if I like this. I think I like the current iteration of Witchcraft better, but for sure, Witchcraft is a more offensive trait. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this number just ends up being absurd, and it actually is just as strong because like 4% max health each second. Karma will permanent apply it, so after like actually okay, now that I think about it, on Karma, like if you have a Witchcraft spot, that sounds that's a lot of damage because plus Morello, which is completely separate. Just blue buff Morello, and then you can just actually throw Gunblade on. Wait, I feel like that's insane. Wait, no, you need the Witchcraft spat. So okay, no Gunblade, but I feel like that's insane. Yeah, blue buff, red buff, Witchcraft spat. Her thing hits pretty much any unit. Cause like I think without a spat, this is just a massive nerf. But with spat on karma, I don't know why they're balancing this trade around karma. That's like that's a weird thing to me. So you just, but okay, but now your comp is losing frontline, so you need frontline items for sure. But I don't know how to feel about this. Because yeah, like which craft units don't use this wall? I don't know. This is just nerf, right? Just 1% every rank. That's I mean that makes sense. That's a lot of damage. So, right. Item nerfs. Uh, Shojin's just getting stats removed. Similar to what blue buff got before. So that's fine. I mean, this patch Shojin is just pretty much always better than blue buff because they nerfed blue buff but not Shojin. But now they're nerfing Shojin, so this is fine. They're about the situational thing before. Titus is getting reverted. You're not getting 2 AP and 280. So this set doesn't really have that many units that would abuse this. So I think it's like fine. I think that's why they went for it. But like realistically, the champions that would abuse it are like these. I don't know what units besides these care about the AP and AD. You want a unit that attacks a lot, that has a good AP scaling. It's like Cassidy attacks a lot and has AP scaling. AD doesn't matter that much, but like he's a multi-striker, so he's still gonna be attacking a lot. But like Hogma is a backliner, so I don't even think that's like who would actually care about the aid? Like it's not like it'd be bad on other units, but like I feel like these four units are for sure the biggest winners of the Titans revert. I mean, Olaf is also getting buffed. So the problem is that Olaf's traits give him a lot of stuff anyway. But if you were to play Olaf in like a more flex, he would be benefiting more. So like, if you have like 7 Frost or like 4 Hunter, then he's relative like he's still buff, but he's like getting less value in comparison. Whereas if you're playing like Olaf just on like a flex board with like 3 Frost or the 2 Hunter, just with like other random like strong units, then that Olaf is getting buffed by more comparatively. I feel like okay, yeah, I think that's what that is. Nashor's is getting reworked a little bit. It is getting a lot more attack speed, but it's losing AP, which I don't know how I feel about. Like, is this better? I mean, okay, this is less tied to AP users, so maybe I don't know if this is better than Gensu's. And I guess this is better for like early in a fight, like for sure. It takes longer for Gensu's to pass it, but I don't know if that's. I don't know how to feel about this. Like, this is probably fine on Casio. Like, this would be good on Rise if Rise's ability didn't stack Gensu's. I don't know who else would care that much about this change. I don't know. AP getting the same treatment as the Shojin, so now all of those you have the same amount of AP, so it's less significant. I mean, it's fine. Crown, instead of giving stats, it has 10% gold when you win combat. Um, I mean, okay, so this wasn't that impactful, so, but this is also like small percent chance for 1 gold. I mean, if you start the game with a fawn, I mean, okay, late game, this is not very impactful. Like, if you get a fawn late game, that doesn't really make a difference. I feel like this would be better. And then, I mean, if you like fawn early game, I mean, this isn't if everyone has it, I don't know. I mean, it's more interesting, but I don't think it's better. I think it's worse. Because this also makes it RNG in the early game. Like a 10% chance to get +1. Like on 2 stages, on average, you're getting 1 gold. I feel like that's not very good. This is, I mean, this is just because they nerfed Shojin, but I don't know if this needed to be nerfed. This is the same change they have on Titans, which is fine. Same, relatively on Nashers. Same thing on Adaptive. Okay, now we have all the new frying pan recipes, so we can see what they are based on maybe what stats they're gonna give, whether they're craftable or not. Like whether they're implemented yet, I don't know. But I mean, we can definitely tell what they are based on this. So Bastion frying pan is gonna be with armor with the chain vest. Hunter is gonna be craftable with sword. Mage Emblem is gonna be craftable with rod. Multi-Striker is gonna be craftable with bow. Preserver is gonna be craftable with cloak. Scholar with tear. Warrior with love. So these are the 8 craftable frying pan recipes, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure how some preserver like just innately is going to be very valuable. Scholar with the change that they made might be interesting. Warrior, same thing. Multi striker already they didn't make changes, but they didn't need to because this one's already going to be good. Mage, question mark, might be good. Okay, the thing with Mage though, okay, I'll talk about these first. This is not gonna. I don't think this is gonna matter that much. And Hunter is getting buffed a lot, so it'll probably matter more. But yeah, Mage is interesting because there's a lot of weird interactions with double casting. Like you can a craftable item you can put on other units. You can play around 3 mage very easily, and you get a lot more bonus than you would consider. So, like, if you can craft this and then play Sendra, that might not be terrible. Um, you can put this on 80 units, and that's also not bad considering 3 mage penalty. It penalizes AP, but doesn't penalize AZ. So if you put this on an Ezreal, like, he's double casting and getting most of his damage for free. Put this on Varus. Put this on, I don't know, Kog'Maw. On what any AD, like anything that you can fit on a board with 2 other mages, which shouldn't be that hard because like you have Galio, Nora for Portal. You have like it's not gonna be that hard. And you could do a lot of weird stuff with this. So it being craftable is like interesting. Okay, otherwise, it's being nerfed. Being nerfed a lot, you're getting a lot less gold later on. This is being... No, this is the same change. This is just stronger. This is being nerfed by a lot. You have to wait like 2 or 3 more rounds. Which actually kind of kills this augment. Yeah, this is like a really big nerf. This is a tiny nerf. Upgrade Adventure. Arcane Conduit rework. Instead of this, which no one played around because rerolling around these units wasn't viable until this patch. And even then, I don't know how worth it was. But now, 10% bonus damage, but you have binary airdrop on your Arcana units. That's pretty good. Just put 2 random utility items on Ari, put 2 whatever items on Hecarim. Tom Crunch isn't really item specific, you could just put random tank items on him. And then on Xerath, you can fit your 2 items and you get like you get a third. That's pretty good. Like I think this you just push levels, try to find Xerath, and yeah. At what cost? Getting buffed. I'm not sure how needed this was, but sure. Avenge of the Fallen, another buff. Like, I think at the start of the set, this was literally half. It used to literally be like 15 about all of these stats. Now, I feel like this is now it should be pretty good. In multi strikers or warriors, surely. Like this has to be strong now, right? Beast Friends nerf. I mean, it's a substantial nerf, but the trade is getting buffed. I mean, okay, this is like more impactful than. I mean, I feel like still, I think Honeymancy, like with how buffed Honeymancy is, like this is fine, honestly. Like it's still effectively a 17% damage, like damage increase for Honeymancy. So, and it's fine. Big buff here. I don't know if it's still strong yet or not. But I mean, you could still play stuff like, again, Nomsy reroll, and it's pretty good. Call shot buff, I think it's fine. This is kind of a hard argument to use. Cat 5 nerf, deserved. This argument was OP, still is OP. Rework. No, it's just buff. I think that's fine. I still don't know what you do with it. I don't like it's because you have to play around the Kali for it to be worth it. But I don't think. I mean, like if you have this with a Kali, this now probably is pretty good. I'm trying to think about how many cinders you get. Like if you can get to like 60 cinders, 100% bonus magic damage. I feel like that's pretty good, but I feel like but you have to play Melancholy with this. So I still don't know how good this is. Clockwork Accelerator, same thing as Avenge the Fallen. Like this has been chain buffed over and over again. I don't remember what it was at the start of the set. I don't know, it was like 4 or 5, but now it's 10. Surely this buff, this is like 3/4 of against like on your whole board. Like surely this is good. My patronage is nerf. I don't know how needed this was. I feel like this isn't like that strong. I mean, I don't think this needed a nerf, but it's fine. This is getting nerfed. Not a lot, but considering this is one of the weaker hero augments, I don't know how needed this was, but like I think where Deja Vu is right now is fine. I don't think it needs to be nerfed, but this nerf isn't like that crazy. Like it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. I think this is like this isn't that bad. Draconic Mastery rework. You're losing bonus damage and damage reduction. I mean, I feel like that's pretty impactful, but 10% health and incremental attack speed, it's like kind of similar. After you score 60 champion takedowns, you gain a smolder. after the dragon score takedowns. Basically, this is telling you to re-roll Namzi and Shyvana, and you get a smolder afterwards, regardless of what level you are. So, like, that's pretty good for, once again, Namzi reroll. Fine Vengeance buff. This is needed. Since they added the new support items, this augment has not been very good. It's just so hard to play around. Now it's like, at least you're being punished less for trying to do stuff. I mean, there's a lot of comps that can use this, but it's just too risky because there's a lot of more support items that are harder to use. But yeah, I think this is needed. This will make it easier to play around. Flexible. This is gonna be prismatic, so I think this is fine. Every stage, in 40 health, which is a substantial buff, but it's prismatic now. I still think this is gonna be one of the stronger prismatics, but I'm not entirely certain. Frosty Frontline. Instead of a statue with an Eternal Winter, you get a wolf with a protective vow, which scales better with Frostier. Oh, it doesn't respawn, so I don't know if this is better or not. I think it's more interesting, but I think this version is stronger than this one, so not sure. Alright, I mean, it depends on how much damage the wolf does, I guess. Maybe the wolf will just be strong. Good for something buff. I don't think people will ever take this augment. I mean, this isn't that bad, so... But you need... It makes spreading item components worse, and they have to die. So that means you're not putting items on your front line, which I don't know about how... But, like, realistically, if you could farm, like, 2 gold around, that's already really good. So... I feel like early game implications, this is actually a pretty strong... Like... Yeah, this actually might be good now. Because you can also lose, like, this is a lose streak augment. You just don't slam? That might be something. Hard commit nerf. Uh, Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if this is... I mean, this one's like kind of strong, I guess. I don't see it very often. Heroic getting buffed. I think this is kind of fine. And this augment is meta dependent, so whatever. Ice power nerf. I think this is fine. I mean, with like the trait changes around her, I don't know how that affects it. So with Fairy being buffed, I think you might be able to play this with Fairy, maybe, instead of the Scholar board. So I'm not sure. But with Ari being reworked, I don't really know what to think about this. I do know that just base Lilia is really strong early game and then falls off. It should still be pretty strong early game, so I think that's okay. Item collector, these are getting gutted. Like, these stats, like, this is like so little now. Yeah, I really don't know. Like, if, I currently don't pick them anymore, but after the previous nerf, but now I don't. This is just, I think this is a bit overboard. Like, I feel like this is fine. Maybe, like, I don't know. Pandora's can reroll crown and spatula. Can you reroll into spatula or crown? That's a question. That is a question. Probably not, but I mean, okay, with stuff being craftable, how does this affect the tiers? So, like with pan being added to the game, so do pan items roll into pan items, spatulas roll into spatulas, and then the other remaining uncraftables turn into other uncraftables? How many uncraftables are left? So 8 of these. So there'd be 5 left. What are they? Arcana, uh, Vanguard, Incanter, Chrono, Blaster? If that's how, I don't know how that's gonna work, but that doesn't seem, I don't know. I'll have to see. I can't really form an opinion on it right now. Potions to 1 getting nerfed. Don't know if this, like, how needed this is. Okay, actually, wait. With the dot, this is probably, yeah, no, I think this might be correct. With the dot, how long does it take to 4% to 25 seconds to just kill someone that is touched by a witch ability? Yeah, this with the 4 witch change might. Honestly, this might not be enough. I don't know. Now that I think about it. Yeah, I didn't consider this augment with the 4 witch change. Like that's actually crazy. I'm gonna lose combat. I think this is fine. I don't know. I don't think it's PC nerf 5 to 4. I mean, I think it's deserved. This augment's already strong. Prize fighter, uh, but more component early, but you scale less. I think that's fine. Just text. 9 to 11. That's pretty nice. Many augments are already good. I don't think it needs to be buffed, but it's getting buffed. Tactician's items, salvage bin. Yeah, because now it's my. Because okay, now there's spatula, pan, and then there's spatula pan. I guess, yeah. I guess. Sleight of hand. I don't know if this needs to be nerfed. At least not as much as it is. Like, that one's like is pretty good, but yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like this is a lot. Spider Queen nerf by a lot. 130 over 3 versus 90 over 4. That's pretty big nerf. That's actually a very big nerf. I feel like this augment might be dead. Sweet Soup buff. They just give him 50 health. And that's fine. I think this augment's fine. Like, it's pretty strong. I think this is. I don't know why they're buffing it though, considering what they're doing to Honeymancy and Bastion. Like the Bastion be craftable. Like, I don't think they needed to do this. Trait checker buff. I think this is fine. Uh, maybe not. I don't know. I feel like this is just flexible, but like with a different costume. But like you can get it, you can get more emblems earlier. Like if you, because now like we know that there's like on level 7, there's a couple different ways you can get this. I feel like this didn't need to be buffed. Actually, I don't think this is fine because this is still a gold. Like, so it's not fine. What the forge? One more artifact anvil. I mean, I think it's this is it's hard to say because right now everyone's super afraid of artifacts because a lot of them are too hyper situational. It's hard to put them together in a comp. Uh, I'll be working on something for artifacts, but this argument is still very hard to take. I think you can only take this on like maybe like Scuttle Puddle slash Carboy and stuff, and then even then it's a little tough. Witchy Wallop just getting nerfed. Again, I don't really know if this is needed because they're reworking the comp anyway, and which graft. Sorry. So like even though this is like strong, like for reference, I think this is like a bigger nerf than the Lilia one, but that was like I don't know. I mean, it's probably needed to be nerfed, I guess, but I mean this is lower than it was in the beginning. I feel like this augment is gonna be weak now, but I think it's fine that the one cost ones are a bit weak because you tempo them and you use them to tempo anyway. Like I feel like you just hit your Poppy 3, you tempo. I think in that like playing it them like that is what makes them strong. So I think it's fine. But I feel like your Poppy's still gonna be stronger than most things early game anyway. But I feel like that is kind of a lot. Okay, that's it. The things I want to look at are Namzi, Vertical Hunter, Honeycraft. Can also try Multi Striker. Can try Ezreal. If I hit something craftable, I'll try that. Yeah, let's take a look. Long ass queue. I guess like 12 minutes I'll restart. Oh. Ah, just gotta yap. Let's just take a look at. No, it just depends on whatever opener I have, but it's gonna be one of the one class rerolls.
It's me! Don't worry, I got this.
Why so tense? Relax.
It's me!
Smoked 'em.
Let's just take this, and I'll play.
Time out! Gotta sharpen my lamp.
Our future will be bright.
I have 0 Namzus, so. Play Honeymancy. I don't know what else I play with this, but well,
The magic calls to me.
oh,
What do you mean this doesn't look safe?
Playtime's never over! There's beauty in even the smallest moments. Yippee!
Oh. Oh my.
Don't worry, I got this.
Oh wait, I should move. I didn't pay attention to my front line is not positioned properly.
Playtime's never over.
How do I position this so that it does the thing? Oh.
Playtime's never over. There's beauty in even the smallest moments.
Okay, well, I need to hit. Hello, hello. Sure. I'm gonna need that later. Fuck. Okay, that's fine. Alright. Do I honeyman see the Ari? I mean, okay, I feel like with 7 honeymancy, it's for sure frontline. I wait for Palm Pinch. Okay, I'm very poor. I have. Zero? No. Oh, actual chain. The opening tech. Honestly, I just made this and then. But I need to wait. I'm very far off. Blitz through. But the next lane is gonna be Veigar or not Tom.
Exterminate. Exterminate.
A random duplicator would be nice. Oh, this is fine. I think I'm gonna slow level just because I need. I still need to hit Blitzcrank. I'll do that and then. I kind of need the board strength. But here I'll roll for. Yeah, my odds aren't very high, but
Magic coming at you.
well. I should just roll for charm, and then hopefully I just hit the Blitzcrank. Yeah. I'll just take this.
The magic! It calls to me!
Delicious.
Honestly, this is probably fine. He's doing a lot of damage, and he's healing. Well,
Magic tickles.
oh. That's Bastion. I don't need that. Fuck it. I'm never gonna hit it. Just give myself some more AP. Vanguard. Yeah, it's effectively the same thing. Like, that's all I can really hope for. Oh, that's a 3. It seems physical damage is dull. Is that even good? I don't think it is. I guess it'd be like if they have like Miramar. Also, wait, how do I fight real twice in a row? Well, that's unlucky with the Blitzcrank. Otherwise, I mean, this... And, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm not prioritizing items right, but I feel like this comp is just... I think this is gonna be the new Zoe. I have to see how Namsi feels. But... Okay. Well, I actually have to go now, but... I might go back live later. Maybe not, I don't know. Depends on how much time I have. But for now, I have to call it.